Kia ora whānau. What are taxes for? Well, of course, we all know this. We pay taxes as our share to run our country. It's our contribution to be able to cover all the costs of running our country. We pay taxes for important public services and facilities, schools and hospitals and roads and the defence force, the police force, the court system. All these things that we need in the public sector are all paid for by taxes. Taxes are used as a revenue stream for the government to be able to run the country. Without the taxes, they won't be able to spend anything. Taxes are used to balance the government budget. It needs to bring the dollars in to be able to spend out. That's what we've known our whole lives, no doubt, and that's what we would see as the truth, but it's all absolutely false. It's entirely, completely black. None of that is true. And I hold that we've all been taught incorrectly. Taxes are not used to pay for anything. We thought that we pay taxes in order for the government to use that to be able to spend back into the economy. That's fuck. None of that's true. Taxes don't pay for anything. Now, I know you're thinking, what the? And that's understandable. This may seem counterintuitive to you. So, if taxes don't pay for anything, then why do we even have taxes? And here are the reasons why. Taxes are critically important, but not for the reasons that we think. Here's the correct sequence. First, government levies a tax liability, and that creates sellers and buyers of goods and services in exchange for New Zealand dollars. The New Zealand dollar is the only accepted tax credit, meaning it's the only thing accepted by the government in payment of taxes. So to review, government levies a tax liability and creates sellers of goods and services in exchange for the New Zealand dollar. This creates the value in the dollar, where we require it in payment of taxes. The New Zealand dollar is the only thing accepted in payment of taxes. So we earn our tax credits by serving our fellow citizens and paying work and creating new products and services. We can then pay our tax liability. So the government now has created a public purpose, a public sector, where we're all now, where we used to be fully employed, now we're unemployed, striving to be re-employed to create goods and services so we can pay our taxes. So taxes are an important tool to be able to provision the public sector. So taxes enable us to provision government as we produce goods and services. It's not used as a revenue to create any type of spending power. The taxes are used to drain excess New Zealand dollars out of the economy to prevent inflation. So taxation is not used to fund any government expenditure. Taxation is a reserve drain. The taxes make room in the economy for new government spending. If we were to leave the spending up to us, it would not be aligned for the public purpose, it will be aligned for our own individual purposes. So taxes make room in the economy for new government spending. If government doesn't first remove money through taxes, there will be too much money in circulation, which can cause price inflation and other difficulties. So the important thing to remember about here is that taxes are important, but for not the reasons that we likely thought they were. The taxation is a reserve drain to enable the government to prioritise investment into certain public purpose areas. So running water never goes stale. Water! So as running water never goes stale, as Bruce Lee said, Let's imagine now that taps or the faucets in a sink setup are the government. The government is the tap spending the dollars first into the economy. The water is the new money that's been created into the economy, and the drains, or the plug hole, the drainage system, is to be able to balance that flow as a drainage out, and that's what taxes are. Let's look at this in a scenario where we can see the government are the taps, the water flow is the new dollars, and the taxes are like the drains out of the city. Let's take a look at the left side there. Let's imagine there's too much new water, too much money out in circulation. That can cause inflation. The other scenario is less water through high taxes. So the government is draining too much money out of circulation, and what that can cause is unemployment. So you can see the purpose of taxation is to serve as this reserve drain to enable the balancing of the economy, not for public expenditure spending by the government. So as Bruce Lee said, running water never goes stale. I hope that this lesson doesn't go stale either. So remember, whānau, taxes don't pay for anything. They have other important purposes. Because we realise this now, we can understand that because taxes are not required for government to spend, then all of these important things like healthcare, education, infrastructure, new technologies for growing kai, soil carbon sequestration, water storage, all these vitally important things for our farming sector, environmental projects, none of these things require taxes for them to be paid for. The taxation is there solely as a reserve drain, not for public expenditure. So I hope that's cleared that up. Taxes don't pay for anything. If you have any questions, whānau, always feel free to email me back on the website at the big pink email link, and we'll talk very soon. Kia ora.